Hello, my name is Cortland Hodges, and today I will be talking about how Disney does not currently have a monopoly. A dream is a wish your heart makes, a famous song from Walt Disney's Cinderella, one of 200 films produced by the company, and one of nearly 750 owned by the company. So, what is a wish my heart makes? Well, I wish that people would stop considering Disney a monopoly. Such a nasty word for a company that's in competition in so many forms of entertainment. That is why today I will be talking to you about how Disney is not currently a monopoly, rather than just a large company or business that is in competition with other companies in the entertainment industry. To begin, to understand how Disney is not currently a monopoly, one must understand the definition of a monopoly. George J. Stigler, a late professor of economics at the University of Chicago, said that a monopoly is an enterprise that is the only seller of a good or a service. There's a problem with the monopoly argument already with just this statement, since Brett Hines, a writer of the American Prospect, used the many companies owned by Disney, including 20th Century Fox, Marvel, ESPN, its cruise lines, and its theme parks as one of his monopoly points. He used this small kingdom of companies to consider Disney a monopoly, without even thinking about the amount of competition Disney has in all these different markets that it's competing in. Now, if we just use broadcasting and cable as one example, Forbes compiled a list of some of Disney's competitors in that industry, which would be Comcast, Charter Communication, CBS, Dish Network, and Viacom. Comcast is actually higher than Disney on this list, with more sales, more profits, and more profitable assets. It owns NBC Universal, Showtime, Philadelphia Flyers, and 76ers. And all of those companies place Comcast in the film, television, theme park, sports, and streaming service industries, respectively, which places it in competition with Disney in so many different ways. This is just one example of a company that is in competition with Disney. So, while Disney may own companies from film and television to property and parks, it can't be considered a monopoly since it's not the only seller in the entertainment industry. Moving from the single seller part of the argument, Disney also can't be compared to a monopoly since it doesn't own the entire process of making its products, like its films. One example of a real company that had to disband because of a real monopoly was the Standard Oil Company run by J.D. Rockefeller. Encyclopedia Britannica says that the company was forced to disband in 1911 since it controlled production, processing, marketing, and transportation of oil in the United States. It wasn't just a single seller of oil. It also controlled how it was processed, how it was marketed, and how it was transported throughout the United States. This is a problem with the monopoly argument as well, since Disney can't be compared to this model, as you can see with our example of Avengers Endgame. Since in Avengers Endgame, Disney reached out to other independent studios like Territory Studios, Legacy Effects, The Third Floor, and Stereo D for some of its special effects work. It outsourced to different companies. Now, outsourcing is a process where companies like Disney have some independent studios do some of the pre-production and animation work so that they could save time and money. So in the end, Disney doesn't even own the process of making all of its products. In this case, its films. Now, while we now understand that Disney does not currently have a monopoly, the monopoly argument can become true if Disney continues on the path that it's on. Going back to the Standard Oil Company example, we see that Standard Oil started in 1863 when J.D. Rockefeller joined in a small oil refinery business in Cleveland, Ohio. Him and his associates moved from this small oil refinery business to operating some of the largest oil refineries in Cleveland, Ohio in 1870, and furthermore expanded it to controlling 90 to 95% of the refining process in the U.S. by eliminating competition and by merging companies. Well, this eliminating competition and merging companies thing is a major problem in the monopoly argument. It's one of its main points. As we've seen in the past, Disney has acquisition companies like 20th Century Fox, Marvel, ESPN, and Hulu. Brett Hines even goes and uses the example of Avengers Endgame by saying that the Marvel Studios film, owned by Disney, not only became the best-selling box office film in history, it also produced 38% of all U.S. box office sales in 2019 at the time of its release. Now, this fact does not break the statement that Disney is not currently a monopoly, but if Disney continues this trend of acquisitioning other companies and eliminating competition, then it will become a monopoly once it owns all aspects of entertainment. To sum it up, I have explained how Disney is not a monopoly since it is not the only seller. I have explained how Endgame proves that Disney does not own the process of making its movies, once again proving that it's not a monopoly in the entertainment industry, and how Disney can become a monopoly if it continues to acquisition companies and to eliminate competition. So in conclusion, this argument proves that you shouldn't throw around terms like monopoly without using them correctly, since obviously this argument was proven false just by the fact that the term monopoly was used incorrectly. If you're going to argue something, use your terms correctly and do not use the misinterpretation of words to sway others' opinions.